Give me just a moment to get the word out. And you know how we do this? We get this cast bumping, whether the chat fills up or not. I'm going to pop the word out on the socials, and then we're going to get fired off. Welcome to the Bonnet Chronicles. I'm your host, Kalari GXE, and we have a lot to talk about because yesterday's DNC was lit. And even though I'm kind of in a mellow of mood today because somebody that we enjoyed on YouTube has passed, and you get you in your head thinking about mortality, I'm sure that they are in a better place. So I'm going to try to focus on what I know, which is politics, social issues, and news talk. But it's not a good Bonnet Chronicles without me dragging some bullshit. So let's get this started. Welcome to Chat Picks. It's good to see you, honey. I just really wanted to start off with the Putin stuff because you think that this is like a reality TV show or a Twilight Zone episode when you see stuff like this. But this motherfucker is really out here talking about Putin signs a decree granting residency to foreigners who share traditional Russian values. I think Putin is prepping for his old buddy 45 because he knows that Trump is running the saddest campaign ever. We know that Trump is running the saddest campaign ever. And unlike some of the conspiracy theorists who want to go, well, they're not doing right, so they must have a ace in the hole to get him in. I think they really thought that they were going to run roughshod over Joe Biden with the ageism and bullshit. And now that Kamala Harris has entered the fray and is bringing hope and enthusiasm to this election, now Putin's saying, well, if you're a Westerner and you're tired of their loosey-goosey morals and you want that hard-line Russian traditionalism, don't mind the fact that we might throw you in the war to try to re-annex countries that got away from us. Don't mind that if you don't have enough money, you'll live like a lot of people in Russia who aren't oligarchs live. But come on, we'll take you all in and we'll promise you that you'll get to act like good little Christians, but under Putin's watch. The fact of the matter is, there's been rumors going around social media that these people are serious. If Trump loses, we're going to lead the country. There's literal for sale signs all around our area, too. I, for one, hope you do it. I will be the first one to say goodbye so long as Vita said goodbye. Get the fuck out. Because you will really be making America great again if you decide that Putin's Russia is where you can be great. Bye. We won't miss you. Okay, bye. I think I have that soundbite somewhere. Give me just a moment. Because I just laugh at the fact that these people think they're hurting us by saying shit like this. I laugh at the fact that these people think that we're going to cry if they don't go away, if they go away. But I think this soundbite
okay, bye,
fits how I feel about any open MAGA deciding that America is too much. I need the strict moral values of Mother Russia to live in. Okay? See ya. But this is from the Moscow Times. It says, President Vladimir Putin on Monday signed a decree allowing foreign citizens and stateless individuals to apply for temporary residency in the country if they share traditional Russian spiritual and moral values, even in the cases when the person doesn't speak Russian. Get ready, Americans that don't like it when we get the first black, female, Asian American president. When her joy and her laugh and all the other bullshit Fox News feeds you to not like about her, ignoring that she has an economics degree, so she will be good for the economy, a law degree, so she'll be bad for men like Trump. Go on, get. We won't mind, but don't try to come back now. You'll be Russian citizens temporarily, apparently, but y'all work that out with old Vladdy. He'll love you. Go on. I'm sure. The decree states that those who oppose the destructive neoliberal ideological agenda, wow, that's a fucking mouthful. Why don't you just say woke there, Pootie? Why don't you just say woke like the rest of these idiots? But the neoliberal, let me tell you, as a pragmatic liberal who don't spare my words, who will call out fuck shit, who almost made this topic about George Santos' goofy ass, pleading guilty to his charges. I realize that joy is a good thing. So we are going to focus on the joy. But I get a little bit of mockery in this beginning. Vance would definitely not be welcome in Russia, nor would his wife and kids. That's a good point, Bix. But I bet he might go to be Trump's rug sniffer. I don't even understand why they're being like this, but I love the thought of a mass exodus of MAGA morons who think Russia's going to be better for them. And then by the time they realize how stupid that was, it's too late. They're your problem now, Vladdy. Take them. We don't want them. It's also tasked the government and foreign ministry with creating a list of countries Moscow considers to be pursuing a destructive neoliberal agenda within 30 days. So he's going to task his government to come up with a fucking list of people who are just too liberal, who need that Russian Orthodox methodology to show good Christian values. Good luck to all of you. I hope America makes the top of your list, because we don't like you either. People applying for the temporary resident status in Russia, according to a new humanitarian scheme, would not need to show proof of Russian language proficiency. So all you dum-dums who can barely speak English, all right? All of you people? You can go over to Russia too. They don't need you to speak the language. They'll point and laugh at how ignorant and stupid you are while speaking Russian, and then smile in your face while speaking English, because like a lot of other countries, having multilingual proficiencies is a norm. But y'all go over there with your MAGA hats and your America was great, but now don't tread on Russia shirts that I'm sure y'all mass produce. Go over there, be buddy, because they're going to fucking point and laugh at you as well. I love that for you. Keep it going. I just love it. Russian authorities have increasingly sought to attract conservative Westerners to the country, positioning Russia as a traditional counterpoint to what they portray as a moral, decadent West. So allowing people to live their free lives, to make choices in their lives, to be openly comfortable with their sexuality, their gender identity, to uplift the diversity in our country. Oh, that's bad. Can't have that. This is why a few Bonnet Chronicles ago I played that Cindy Villa thing where that Russian woman was just gushing over the thought of black people visiting because they don't see us a lot, and that they would just marvel at us coming over there. And my black ass said, no thank you, because your leader is a scumbag that locks people up. But I find it funny that they're saying traditional Westerners. So if you're like those idiots in NC, you know those coons that like to think that we'll be okay over there too. No, the fuck you won't. If you're anybody like the half of Burlap and Saconia, thinking you're going to get riverfront properties over there in Russia, no, you won't. But you will be a lapdog and scapegoat for whenever shit goes bad in Russia. So if you're a black GOPer, I'm not telling you not to relocate over there. It'll be funny. Just don't try to come back with sob stories about how you were mistreated. Don't blame Russia, because they do the same shit to you in your circles, only you're too dumb and blinded by the attention they give you to understand that. So it is what it is. If y'all mass exodus over there, don't try to bring your wannabe black asses back over here with no sob stories. Bye. But and last week, the Russian Interior Ministry said an American couple and their children had sought temporary asylum due to a canceling of traditional family values, as well as low level of education in the United States. It means they can't keep banning our books. They can't keep using ridiculous ideology to stop kids from learning to respect each other and respect themselves. So if that is the way you want to live your life, I would wholeheartedly invite you to go live in Russia, because apparently Russia wants people like you. We do not care. We will not miss you. And you are not free to come back if you do that. But from mocking to joy. Because honestly, I think when people threaten stuff like that, they think they're harming us. Hi, Chazzy. Did you send me messages on Twitter? Because if you did, I'm back up. I will get to them as soon as possible. We've got editing and this book launch, which is a bit delayed, but we are still pushing for our August launch. And I just was in my feels earlier about Sabine's passing. So I'm hopeful that I can get my mood back in the right order. And I think showing parts of this DNC, and this is just a part one, I'm going to be covering highlights and everything on Friday as well. But I am just a mess with getting back to messages. So if you sent me a message on Twitter, I promise you I will get back to you. If you sent it on here, a DM, I will definitely get back to it as soon as possible. I am really bad with Twitch DMs. I get a lot of them, so a lot of times I just don't look at it until later on. But I will definitely get back and respond to you as soon as possible. Like I said, it has been a busy few weeks because I am super excited for the second novel. I've been trying to keep the balance of content creation and going back to social media to cover the DNC and this election. So I'm getting back in my stride and my pace. I promise you I'll get a response to you soon. But we're going to start this off with the opening to the DNC. There were so many good speakers. I might bop around. I might head back on Friday because I don't want to skip too many people. But I'm telling you, it was electrifying, y'all. A lot of my friends are there. They've been sharing their pictures all over social media. I got invited to attend, but wasn't good notice for me. I'm still kind of travel leery with flying still, because COVID's still a thing, y'all, and I know I'm boosted up, I can mask up and everything, but I'm still, after the graduation and everything, I'm still recharging my batteries. Not saying I didn't want to be there, but I would much rather be at the inauguration, if you know, you know. So that is what I am recharging for, because once we say Madam President on November 6th, I'm saving all I can to get my ass down to DC for that inauguration. And I know I'll be invited, because not only am I a donor, and I'm planning to start a Twitter thread of all the collectible political stuff that I've had over the years, if I can go through the boxes and dig them out. But I just love that people were sharing stuff, because I just got another postcard from the Harris-Walz campaign with Kamala that I am going to put with the bills and the stickers and the buttons and everything else I have. I want a collectible keepsake of political stuff. I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited. So let's get this popping. Let's get this cracked off, because there's a lot. It's 6 hours. We are not going through all 6 hours. I only got a little less than an hour before I got to go make dinner and relax. So we're going to get this popping. Yeah, it's too much, Pix. It really is. You're introverted like I am too, and the anxiety from it, I think it would be a lot. Even though it was electrifying and you could feel excitement, I personally would rather cover it like this. And the campaign is okay with us using our platform to cover it like this. So I don't have to be on the floor to feel the excitement of the DNC.
And now Chicago, this city of hard work and caring people, is where Democrats will celebrate President Joe Biden and nominate Kamala Harris for President of the United States of America. As the son of a family that worked to make ends meet, I know that Kamala Harris, the daughter of a mom who worked hard every single day, she is going to look out for the interest of everyday people. I know that as a fellow former social studies teacher, that Governor Tim Walz will never shrink from standing up for our democracy and for those most in need.
Teachers, man. I love that I have that.
And as a black man, raising a little black girl on the west side of Chicago, I know that my daughter Brayden will see not only a reflection of herself in the White House, but she will experience the deepest part of American values. Think about it. What will it take to build the middle class and make it easier for families not only to get by, but to get ahead? It will take someone with toughness to stand up for us. And let me tell you, America, Kamala's got it.
Yes.
What will it take to defend our fundamental rights and our freedoms? It will take someone with leadership, who would fight for us. And let me tell you, America, leadership, Kamala, she's got it. And what will it take to defeat MAGA Republicans and move our country forward and not backwards? It will take everyone, and let me tell you all, Kamala, she's got us.
Yes, to piggyback onto that, because a lot of people think, oh, she don't have support. She don't have this. She has mega support. And yes, I've been shown proof of the backstabbing antics of some people on the Hill. People I do have some respect for, a lot less now, knowing the game plan they did to President Biden and VP Harris. The thinking that they were going to replace them with other people that would not have unified or electrified the country, would not have been historic at all, but had family ties to you? Really? I know DC has a lot of game players, a lot of wannabe king and queen makers, but you chose wrong when you went against Joe. And now Joe has shown that he can navigate the political game playing and backstabbing. And he did a power move that's going to move America forward in ways we could only dream of back in the day. When I believe she was a senator lady from California, was talking about her wife and daughter, the fact she was told by the little girl that she was going to be vice president, I cried, laughing that Tim is second choice. I love the fact that there are a lot of speculations, and there was a lot of good names to pick from the pool. And I won't lie, Pete Buttigieg was the top of my list, along with Beto and a few others, because I knew it had to be a split ticket. It had to be male and female. And then I threw in who I would choose if she did pick an all-female ticket, like Senator Duckworth. But honestly speaking, Tim Walz makes so much sense because he really gets what's going on in the Midwest. He understands the compassion from being a teacher, the duty from serving our country as a military member. And I don't think he elevates Kamala's campaign. I think he's equal at this point because they both give equal measures of compassion, joy, and care for our country. I think that's why Kamala picked him. She didn't want anybody that could stand above her, and she didn't want anybody that the news could slander and say, oh, they picked them because they're weaker than she is. She wanted an equal, just like Joe viewed her as his equal, to help tackle the problems here and abroad, because need I remind people, like I did in my last Twitter short, that America doesn't just have to handle our own domestic policies. We are part of NATO. That means geopolitics has to be represented by us as well. And it's not a perfect job. And all these people that want to protest and yell could never. But it's a job that I believe Kamala Harris can handle. That is so
From
cute.
Mississippi
I love that little
to Pennsylvania.
Want to see themselves in politics now. This has opened up so many people's eyes that yes, we can. People thought it was President Obama. Oh my gosh. Get out of here, bot. For real? Are you for real? Seriously. We are not having this today. It's a day of joy. I don't understand why you people show up in people's chats like this. Show up in people. We ain't got time for this today, bots. Don't want to be famous. Oh, thank you, Pix. I think you got them. We are not going to have want to be famous bots today. We're not interested. I just love that little girls and little boys, because Kamala has looked all children of different backgrounds in our country in the eyes and said, if you want to lead, lead. But it especially feels good for us girls, whether we're trans, whether we're cisgender, whether we're non-binary who don't ascribe to one gender, whether we're two spirits, to feel like we're being heard and talked to feel like we can finally say that yes, we can lead this country It is momentous. The historical connotations alone. We had to wait 400 years just to get the VP spot. And now just a mere 4 years away, we are so close to literally shattering that glass ceiling. And all we have to do is vote. All we have to do is remember that it takes a ballot to be our voice, to make history. And I'm so excited for this, y'all. I am so pumped and jazzed to do what I can to do my part to see this happen.
To Delaware, Kamala Harris, she's got us.
Yes.
From Michigan to Wisconsin to Nevada to California,
yes.
And right here in Illinois, Kamala Harris, she's got us.
Exactly.
To the child care workers, to the tip workers, Kamala Harris, she's got us.
Yes.
And to make sure that this country ensures that families will have access to real affordable housing, to create a pathway to the American dream, Kamala Harris, she's got us.
I'm telling you, it changes so much perspective when you go from renting to homeowning. And yes, my stuff is in my husband's name right now. We have started looking at the paperwork to put my name on the place. I know in his will, no matter what, this place is ours, and vice versa. We pay equal parts into the equity, and it's not just a house, it's the land that we bought with it. Our future intentions is to put our dream house right next to this, and then have this house for if friends or family need a place to stay. We have so many goals that we want to see hit, and it's possible being actual homeowners. And so many Americans are denied that liberty. And I believe this administration is going to do what it can to change that for generations of Americans who thought it was impossible.
Together we can build a better, brighter future. And there's no better place to start that than right here in the greatest freaking city in the world, the city of Chicago. God bless you all. Thank you.
All right, that was the first speaker. I believe Jaden Harrison is up next.
This.
Seen her, I was just like, there's just so much history being made. There is just so much that we have waited so long for. In fact, it's sad to say, but our first indigenous Secretary of the Interior was under the Biden administration. We have had over 400 years where we should have had Native representation in our government at that level in the cabinet position. And it took the Biden-Harris administration to make that happen. But I can tell you that door has been open, and we're not going back. We aren't.
This is our time. We've got steel in our spines, iron in our veins, and hope in our hearts. We've got the flavor, the guts, the grit, and those big shoulders you've heard so much about. We're a bold city, a proud city, a who you callin' second city, where 77 neighborhoods are one. A city of giants, a city with heart, a city with heroes, a sweet, sweet place to call home. We were born ready, baptized by fire, tireless, tenacious, tested, trusted. And like someone else we know, when we fight, we win. We're ready to rise to the challenge, to rise to new heights. Rise, rise, rise. Up, up, and away we go. We're ready to scrape the sky and reach for the stars. To stand tall for tomorrow, to witness greatness. We ain't going back. We've got big things to do, big shoes to fill, big dreams to realize. We ain't afraid of nothing. No nonsense, no fear. Oh yeah, we're ready. So America, welcome to Chicago. We've got our dancing shoes on. We've got our game faces on. America, we look like you, sound like you, work like you, dream like you. We feel you, America. We see you, America. Hey, make some noise so we can hear you, America. Welcome to Chicago.
Hello, my friends, my fellow Democrats. I started my journey to this stage in 1988. I was 12 years old, and my family was watching the Democratic National Convention. Now, to be honest, I wanted to watch something else. But we all knew when my grandfather sat in his chair, the TV was his. But folks, when Reverend Jackson came on, I paid attention. A black man from South Carolina, raised by a single mother. That was me. And as long as I live, I will never forget what he said.
They had so many electrifying people on this stage that it's definitely going to be a few parters. I'm going to get through what I can here. I might even go a bit early on Friday so we can get through more of this. Because I know they're doing part 2 tonight too. But when I say that they had illustrious speakers. And then when VP Harris came out in that tan suit, I about screamed. I yelled so loud that Greg was like, "What's going on? What happened?" And I was like, "It's a tan suit." And Fox News didn't disappoint. They were already complaining because they're a bunch of killjoys.
Challenge young people to hope and to dream.
And I am
so that's exactly what I did.
It makes me teary because I wish Grandma had been around to see this, because I know she would have been just over the moon for this. But she got to see Barack Obama get sworn in. She instilled in me from 6 years old to vote because it matters, because they would take it from us. So I know her spirit's being channeled through a lot of us when we see this historical event happen in November. I am so pumped.
I dreamed big, I worked hard, and I never lost hope. When our power was cut off, when there was nothing in the fridge, when we lost our home to a con man, I never lost hope. And now, my friends, I'm standing on the same convention stage that inspired me. And I'm the chair of the Democratic Party, the world's oldest political party. Folks, only in America. And that's the beautiful thing about this country that I love so much. Hope and hard work can take you anywhere. You can go to college, you can start your own business, you can even win the Olympics. That's the America Democrats believe in, and that's the America Democrats are fighting for. So 4 years ago, my friends, we were a country divided by fear. And we were stuck under a man who preached bigotry and hatred. Hope was lost. But my friends, we found hope in President Biden and Vice President Harris. And the 80 million Americans who stood by their side. And now we are united. We're united in our pursuit of progress. Because, my friends, they saw us. They fought for us. They heard us. And under their transformational leadership, we have forgiven billions in student loans. We have expanded access to health care, and we have strengthened the middle class. But the fight continues, and there is still more work to do. You know, I know that when we elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they will build on our accomplishments, and they will create a country that works for every American. They will invest in our dreams and our futures, and hope will light our path forward. They will lead us in the fight for America, and believe me, when we fight, we win. And folks, we can never forget who we are fighting for. This election is about Americans who are watching right now, wondering, who's going to finally pave that dirt road or make it easier to feed their family?
I mean, no offense, I love where we live, but we're like the only stretch that still has a freaking dirt road. And I would like to see it paved. I know it might be a little bit higher property taxes, but I would like to see our road paved because reasons. You know, I know it slows some people down from like speeding up and down the path, but we're like legitimately one of the few dirt roads still around here, and I would like to see it paved. I'm just saying.
Or get medical bills under control. This election is about those who believe anybody can achieve their dreams if they work hard and trust in the endless possibilities of America. This election is about communities who need to see that hope and joy will always overcome fear and chaos.
Yes.
This election is about every little boy inspired by a party chair who looks like him, and every little girl who will finally see a president who looks like her. My friends, we are paving a path for them. We're working toward a brighter future for them, and we need each and every one of you to join us. In my beloved home state of South Carolina, our motto is, while I breathe, I hope.
Yes.
Folks, I believe in the power of hope, but it's going to take more than hope to win this election.
It takes action.
So in the next 78 days,
yes,
our motto can't be just, while I breathe, I hope. It must be, while I breathe, I vote.
yes.
Because that is how we make hope real for all of America. America, let's vote for Democrats up and down the ticket. Let's save our democracy, and let's vote for our MVP, Kamala Harris, and our coach, Tim Walz. Thank you all so much for being here. And now, it is indeed my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, who will be co-chair for tonight. This is a young woman who is the current lieutenant governor of the great state of Minnesota. And when Tim Walz becomes vice president, she will become the first Native American governor in this great country. Folks, let's welcome Peggy Flanagan.
Thank you, Jamie. As we gather together on this historic night, we remember those who came before us, who fought and prayed this moment into existence. The suffragists and the abolitionists, the activists who fought for our rights, the leaders who paved the way for us all. Their courage and conviction shaped the course of history. Their memory reminds us that the fight for freedom always passes from one generation to the next. We owe it to them and to ourselves to carry their legacy forward. Tonight we pay tribute to those who dared to dream of a country that truly stands for liberty and justice for all. Next, we'll hear from one of those people, a lifelong advocate for civil rights, Maxine Waters.
This woman is in her 70s. I'm telling you, black don't crack, y'all. Black don't crack. Auntie Maxine looks amazing.
Wow. Hello, delegates.
I have been born.
Now, you know, I've seen a lot in my lifetime. I was just 22 years old when Fannie Lou Hamer made her presence known at another Democratic convention. It was in 1964 in Atlantic City, and she arrived with a group of black delegates from Mississippi. And she simply asked that her delegates be seated in place of the state's all-white delegation. She told the people in the room about the violence she suffered at the hands of white police because she, a black woman, had demanded her right to vote. When she finished, she asked the country a simple but profound question. Is this America? She didn't get the outcome she was hoping for in Atlantic City, but you can bet that when the official Mississippi delegation was seated at the convention 4 years later, Fannie Lou Hamer was sitting there with them. Now here we are, 60 years later at another Democratic convention with Kamala Harris as our party's nominee. Oh, so I know there is no better leader to marshal us into the future. Kamala has been a courtroom prosecutor, a district attorney, an attorney general, a United States senator, vice president of the United States. And when the dust settles in November, and Americans of all stripes have elected her their president, I know she'll be thinking about Fannie Lou, who I happen to know is one of Kamala's heroes. In that moment, all of us, from New York to Pennsylvania, to Arizona, to California, we can ask ourselves, is this America? And we will be able to say loudly and proudly, you're damn right it is.
I'm going to freaking tear up thinking about that again, too. Because Justice Brown is so amazing, too. And her getting to swear Kamala in would be just amazing.
Please welcome President and CEO of the NAACP, Derek Johnson, and President and CEO of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, Melanie Campbell.
Good evening. I'm Derek Johnson, President and CEO of the NAACP, and I'm here to do my black job. Since the founding of our nation, we have been on an unending march to protect this imperfect union. Tonight, we celebrate the power of the collective, of what is possible when we are all in for all people. But as we do, let us not forget the history that preceded this moment or the history makers who prepared us for it. As we just heard, in 1964, the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, led by Fannie Lou Hamer, and Mississippi NAACP State President Aaron Henry, who stood tall and challenged a process that excluded them to ensure that we will all be recognized here tonight. In 1973, the historic elections of Atlanta's Mayor Maynard Jackson, Detroit's Mayor Comey Young, and LA's Mayor Tom Bradley paved the way for another historic election just 10 years later, right here in Chicago, with the election of Harold Washington as the first black mayor of the city of Chicago. And in 1988, the Reverend Jesse Jackson in his second quest for the White House inspired us all to keep hope alive. Now, this is important because we must all understand Black history is American history. And in this historic moment, we will write the next chapter together.
I only really watch gymnastics. I see the clip of that weird breakdancing.
Good evening. I'm Melanie Campbell, President and CEO of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation and National Convener of the Black Women's Roundtable. We have come this far by faith. And for Black women, this moment has been a long time coming. Vice President Kamala Harris's path to becoming the Democratic nominee for President of the United States has been paved by the leadership, sacrifice, faith, and patriotism of generations of Black women. Black women like Dr. Dorothy Irene Height, Diane Nash, Ella Baker, Amelia Boynton Robinson, Barbara Jordan, Shirley Chisholm, and Reverend Willie Barrow. Women whose optimism about what America could be and their fight to make that vision real redefined the leadership role that Black women could play in moving our nation forward. As president, Kamala Harris will lead with power, brilliance,
and when I hold up the second novel, once it's printed out, I'm going to remind people that that's my Black job. I'm looking forward to that, girl.
Strength from the highest office in the land.
There's so many.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
We resist those attacks collectively, and we will stand together.
Do we believe in freedom?
Support human rights. We believe in that. Support self-determination. We're built on that.
Stronger together is not just a lesson from our history.
The institutions of this country belong to all of the people who inhabit it.
Jesse Jackson took to the stage at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, knowing the uphill battle he would face in composing the score of a harmonious nation.
Reverend Jackson started out very young. He opened the door, and he continues to do that even now, that all of us have a responsibility for other generations to come behind us.
Jesse Jackson's candidacy in 1984 helped to pave the way for Barack Obama's presidency in 2008. His 1988 candidacy helped to reshape the Democratic National Committee. His candidacy was before its time.
Fueled by passion and determination and marching to their own beat, our civil rights leaders laid the groundwork for lasting change, dreaming of a country where equality and justice inspired the next generation.
We need the energy of our young people. We need the wisdom of our elders. We all can be proud to say that we are truly a leading democracy and we respect people's ability to exist.
America is not like a blanket, one piece of unbroken cloth, the same color, the same texture, the same size. America is more like a quilt, many patches, many pieces, many colors, many sizes.
Standing on the shoulders of giants, Kamala Harris is the candidate who encompasses the brilliance, determination, analysis, and the action to carry the torch lit by the founders of the movement. There's only one choice to represent our collective voice.
What kind of country do we want to live in?
Value system of the modern Democratic Party has been shaped by the civil rights movement of the 1960s.
There's a direct line from 64, the National Democratic Convention, where Fannie Lou Hamer asked to be seated
in 2024 where a black woman is the Democratic nominee. It's been a long struggle and a long journey, but Fannie's gonna be vindicated and Shirley Chisholm's gonna be vindicated in the 24 Democratic Convention.
I wonder if I could sit in a room with Shirley Chisholm, with Rosa Parks, with Coretta Scott King. What would they say about what's happening today?
The civil rights movement has been a key part of organizing the agenda, not just of the Democratic Party, but of democracy.
This is the hope that runs through Kamala Harris's leadership.
Whether people want to hear it or not, whether they want to agree with it or not, black women have been democracy's defenders for as long as we could be. Even before we became humans in our own damn country, we were always the nurturers. We were always the caregivers. And all we want is all of us to be lifted up.
And where hope, change, and freedom are the drumline of our democracy.
I stand before you today as a candidate for the Democratic nomination for the presidency of the United States of America.
I stand before you today to proudly announce I am now officially the Democratic nominee.
We must never surrender. America will get better. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
I hope this is better for the mic. Like I said, I don't want to interrupt the speeches too much. And I know it's like, oh, she's getting emotional over speeches. But when you know your history, when you know how much people did not want to see this moment happen, that still want to pretend like America is this monotheistic, monotone, just only one person, one demographic can represent us, when that is not the case, it just hits you hard at how much we swallowed for centuries, like just accepting the bullshit, and we're not going backwards. I don't care how much you try, we are not going backwards.
Please welcome founder and president of the Rainbow Push Coalition, Reverend Jesse Jackson.
And hoping for President Carter to make it to October and have that celebration of life. We're watching our elders who strongly fought for all of us. We might not have them next year. We might not have them a few months down the line. And this is why I hope that both of them get to live and cherish this moment, because they worked so hard for our nation. I'm praying that he gets to see that 100 so hard, because he deserves it. He has done so much for our country. Exactly. I think so too sometimes. I think that Canada puts up with a lot of our fuck shit because they love us, and they got their own set of wackadoos from time to time too. But hopefully we can be better neighbors to y'all, for real. The crowd was putting respect on his name for real. Exactly, Beans. Agreed. Agreed, Pix. There are so many jobs that are going to get uplifted because we have people that understand what it means to be working class and move up. We have people who care at every level, and all we have to do is elect them. I am so pumped for this.
Democrats, our first order of business is adopting an up-to-date convention agenda. When the Convention Rules Committee met, everyone was working on updating plans based on the significant changes that had just occurred. When the committee approved an agenda, it was a work in progress that members knew would need to be revised accordingly. We now have an agenda for the next 4 days.
To pause, Mr. Harrison, that is a problem our country has had far too long. People who look down on hard work, whether they're factory workers, whether they're delivery people, whether they're cashiers or wait staff, there is no low-level jobs, only high-opinion assholes. Every job in America has shaped our economy and has made us stronger as a nation, and we really do need to stop job shaming people because you think you could never. But if you needed to feed your family or take care of your ass, I bet you would.
The agenda is included in the Standing Committee report booklet emailed to each convention participant. In addition to fantastic speakers and performers, tonight's agenda provides for adopting the up-to-date convention agenda, hearing the Credentials Committee report, hearing the Rules Committee report, and considering a resolution as recommended by the committee, hearing the Platform Committee report and considering our national platform as recommended by the Platform Committee, and holding a confirmatory and ceremonial vote for our vice presidential nominee. Tuesday includes a ceremonial roll call for the presidential nominee. Wednesday, we'll hear ceremonial nominating speeches for our vice presidential nominee, and Governor Walz will make his acceptance speech.
And I will have all of those.
And on Thursday, my friends, we'll hear a ceremonial nominating speech for our presidential nominee, and Vice President Harris will make her acceptance speech.
I can't wait to get to Hillary. I am going to definitely watch that on Friday.
So now, delegates, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the up-to-date agenda. Is there a second? All in favor of approving the convention agenda, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it.
And I'm going to say, as somebody who remembers how 2015 was, the shit show that DNC was, sorry, Donna Brazil, but it's the truth. To see the organization and order in this current DNC is like a breath of fresh air. None of the, you got to earn our vote people acting like assholes, all the protesters that were acting up outside, you can't hear them over the joy and momentum. This is what a national convention should be like from now on. Whether Jamie Harrison continues or whoever takes his place down the road, because we need him for a while because he's doing a thing. But this is how our conventions need to be from now on. No more grandstanding grandpa.
Please welcome Credentials Committee co-chairs, Secretary Marcia Fudge and James Roosevelt Jr.
I think everybody there is on the same boat. Yep. I really think they thought they played themselves. But I think they thought they were going to push Joe Biden out of their way and not support VP Harris either. And he said, okay, bet. And now here we are.
Greetings, my friends. It is an honor to have served as co-chair along my friend, Jim Roosevelt. Pursuant to the call, the Credentials Committee met and adopted a resolution to credential the delegates and alternates to the 2024 National Convention.
As interested as all this is, I know I was going to say I wait till Friday, and I might go back and let some of these other people speak, but I want Hillary. I'm sorry. Because this country did a 30 fucking year campaign against her, downplaying her accomplishments, calling her out her face, talking mad shit about her only child, dinging her because she didn't leave her husband, but would have dinged her if she did. She fought so hard for this country and got spat on. But she still keeps her head up. And she helped put the chinks in the glass ceiling that Kamala shattered as VP and will completely obliterate as president. So I want to hear what she has to say. I want to hear her voice. Because a lot of fucking people didn't. And they had a lot of shit to say in the media about it. And I ain't going out without hearing from Hillary Clinton. Nope, sorry, not sorry. So we're going to get right to that.
A 1966
I can feel it.
Mustang. And Kamala's mom, Shamala, would sit in the front with me.
Okay, lady.
Left a scar, worked for and left a scar over one of her eyes. She still has it. That's the kind of person Kamala has always been from the very beginning. Someone who doesn't hesitate to stand up for what's right, to take up for the underdog, and to stand up to bullies.
Yes. A lot of us black women had to, especially in school.
I have seen it time and again, whether the bully is an individual, a gang, or a corporation. She fights for all of us. Before we go, awesome. I know my mom has one more thing to say.
Blue Jays are lucky too,
Kamala, your mom would be so proud of you.
Yes, she would. Yes, she would. All right, we are gonna get to Hillary's speech and close out here. There's gonna be so much more to cover these next few days. Believe you me, we are gonna get.
Please welcome former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
I still got her book too. I got Kamala's book. And I tell you, if you read her novel and don't come out feeling just defeated sometimes at the humbleness she expressed, at apologizing to us who went to bat for her for not pulling through when it wasn't her fault, it was a good read, and I would suggest it to anybody. Because honestly, this is what humbleness and actually wanting to serve your country feels like.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I can't help but think of what life would have been if she had won instead of that defense. And
thank you all so much. Thank you.
Standing ovation, which is what she deserves, in spite of anything her detractors say. Exactly, Beans. I really do think that the COVID rollout would have been sooner, would have been active, because she wouldn't have gotten rid of President Obama's pandemic response team. We would have been able to help countries across the pond who needed help with the rollout. She would have helped Pfizer with any funding and all the other ones that were working hard to develop the vaccines. And she wouldn't have downplayed it to save her skin. But all we can do now is hope for a better future where we have a lot less what ifs. And I will never stop saying that she didn't lose November 2015. America did.
Americans,
I do too, Beans, and I love it.
No.
Exactly. I still can't with the bleach stuff. For real.
Thank you
You really
all.
did, Beans.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. There's a lot of energy in this room, just like there is across the country.
It's the same cream that some people buy for Chuck Roll.
Something is happening in America.
Energy, enthusiasm.
You can feel it.
It's palpable.
Something we've worked for and dreamed of for a long time.
Centuries.
First, though, let's salute President Biden.
Yes. And we will get to his speech. I promise you that. Because Joe did not play. I love it.
He has been democracy's champion at home and abroad. He brought dignity, decency, and competence back to the White House.
Yes, he did. I said that shit on Twitter. I don't care if it makes people
And
mad.
he showed what it means to be a true patriot.
Yes.
Thank you, Joe Biden, for your lifetime of service and leadership.
Yes. Exactly, Beans. The protocol. Just doing a job that most people think his age couldn't do. He's a damn good president. I don't care what anybody says.
And now we are writing a new chapter in America's story. You know, my mother Dorothy was born right here in Chicago before women had the right to vote. That changed 104 years ago yesterday.
Wow.
Think about it. Tennessee became the final state to ratify the 19th Amendment to the Constitution.
Which gave women the right to
The
vote.
state legislature was deadlocked until one lawmaker's mother, a widow who read 3 newspapers a day, sent a letter to her son. No more delays, she wrote. Give us the vote.
Yes.
And since that day, every generation has carried the torch forward. In 1972, a fearless black congresswoman named Shirley Chisholm she ran for president. And her determination let me and millions of others dream bigger, not just because of who she was, but because of who she fought for.
Exactly. Just a quick pause. Everybody likes to say she was before her time. No, time needed to catch up to her. It wasn't before her time. This country was just too slow and set in its ways to understand the leadership that Shirley Chisholm could have brought. So, no, she wasn't before her time. Time needed to catch up.
Working parents, poor children, the
I
last,
can't wait. Gen
the
Xers
least, and the
we
lost.
are gonna be in the
In
White House, baby. I love it.
1984, I brought my daughter to see Geraldine Ferraro, the
Yes.
first woman nominated
I remember
for
her
vice
Walter
president.
Mondale's campaign.
If
Oh
we
my
can do
gosh.
this, Jerry said, we can do anything.
Yes.
And then there was 2016, when it was the honor of my life to accept our party's nomination for president.
We were all with you. We were with you, Hillary. I'm telling you. My house was with her. My mom was on a fucking walker and we went to go vote for you.
And
Nearly 66 million Americans voted for a future where there are no ceilings on our dreams.
Yes.
And afterwards, we refused to give up on America. Millions marched, many ran for office. We kept our eyes on the future. Well, my friends, the future is here.
Yes.
I wish my mother and Kamala's mother could see us. They would say, keep going. Shirley and Jerry would say, keep going.
When we fight, we win. Yes, please, same.
Women fighting for reproductive health care are saying, keep going. Families building better lives. Parents stretching to afford child care, young people struggling to pay their rent. They're all asking us to keep going. So, with faith in each other and joy in our hearts, let's send Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to the White House.
Yes. It matters.
The story of my life and the history of our country is that progress is possible but not guaranteed. We have to fight for it and never, ever give up. There is always a choice. Do we push forward or pull back? Come together as we the people, or split into us versus them? That's the choice we face in this election. Kamala has the character, experience, and vision to lead us forward.
Yes.
I know her heart and her integrity. We both got our start as young lawyers, helping children who were abused and neglected. That kind of work changes a person. Those kids stay with you. Kamala carries with her the hopes of every child she protected, every family she helped, every community she served. So as president, she will always have our backs.
So at the ballot, we need to have hers.
And she will be a fighter for us. She will fight to lower costs for hardworking families, open the doors wide for good-paying jobs, and yes, she will restore abortion rights nationwide.
Yes.
As a prosecutor,
exactly.
Kamala locked up murderers and drug traffickers. She will never rest in defense of our freedom and safety. Donald Trump fell asleep at his own trial, and when he woke up, he made his own kind of history. The first person to run for president with 34 felony convictions.
34 bitches, exactly. Yes.
As vice president, Kamala sat in the Situation Room.
Yeah. I know Hillary's loving this moment. I know she is, because they chanted that shit about her over and over and over again. Yes! And just a quick pause. All you salty media bitches talk about, they shouldn't have did that. They look now bad at the RNC. Shut the fuck up. Because Hillary Clinton was a private citizen. This motherfucker was going, we gotta lock her up for doing nothing but being a private citizen. But Mr. 34 actual felony convictions, y'all got crickets for. Shut the fuck up with your moral pearl clutching.
But we also know, as Vice President, Kamala sat in the Situation Room and stood for America's values.
Yeah.
I know what it takes, and I can tell you, as Commander-in-Chief, Kamala won't disrespect our military and our veterans.
At all. At all. She won't say that a medal's better than the other.
She reveres our Medal of Honor recipients.
Yes.
She won't be sending love letters to dictators.
Nope.
She will defend democracy and our Constitution and will protect America from enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yes.
Think about it. The Constitution says the president's job is to take care that the laws be faithfully executed. Those are the words of our founders. Take care. Just look at the candidates. Kamala cares about kids and families, cares about America. Donald only cares about himself.
Exactly.
On her first day in court, Kamala said 5 words that still guide her. Kamala Harris, for the people.
I should have wore that shirt tonight. I just wanted to get in my house.
That is something that Donald Trump will never understand. So it is no surprise, is it, that he is lying about Kamala's record. He's mocking her name and her laugh. Sounds familiar.
Yep.
But we have him on the run now. So, no matter what the polls say, we can't let up.
No.
We can't get driven down crazy conspiracy rabbit holes. We have to fight for the truth. We have to fight for Kamala as she will fight for us. Because you know what? It still takes a village to raise a family, heal a country, and win a campaign.
Yes.
And America needs every one of us, our energy, our talents, our dreams. We're not just electing a president, we're uplifting our nation. We're opening the promise of America wide enough for everyone. Together, we've put a lot of cracks in the highest, hardest glass ceiling. And tonight, so close to breaking through once and for all, I want to tell you what I see through all those cracks and why it matters for each and every one of us. What do I see? I see freedom. I see the freedom to make our own decisions about our health, our lives, our loves, our families. The freedom to work with dignity and prosper, to worship as we choose or not.
Exactly.
To speak our minds freely and honestly. I see freedom from fear and intimidation, from violence and injustice, from chaos and corruption. I see the freedom to look our children in the eye and say, in America, you can go as far as your hard work and talent will take you, and mean it. And you know what? On the other side of that glass ceiling is Kamala Harris raising her hand and taking the oath of office as our 47th President of the United States. Yes. Because, my friends, when a barrier falls for one of us, it falls. It falls and clears the way for all of us. So for the next 78 days, we need to work harder than we ever have. We need to beat back the dangers that Trump and his allies pose to the rule of law and our way of life. Don't get distracted or complacent. Talk to your friends and neighbors. Volunteer. Be proud champions for the truth and for the country that we all love. I want my grandchildren and their grandchildren to know I was here at this moment, that we were here, and that we were with Kamala Harris every step of the way. This is our time, America. This is when we stand up. This is when we break through. The future is here. It's in our grasp. Let's go win it. Yes.
I'm so glad I went over a bit just to show that speech, because it was 30 plus years in the making. Despite all the disrespect, despite people still trying to talk mad shit disrespectful on her name, Hillary has been supportive of all of us. And she is going to be here to see that history. In fact, before we go, y'all see me with this hammer. I decorated it. It says this hammer shatters because of a speech I gave a few years back after what happened in 2016, because I didn't want to give up. And I didn't want women in America especially to feel defeated by what happened. Because a lot of us knew, especially us black women, we knew what was on the line. We knew what was coming. We didn't hope it would be as bad as it was. We knew. But I did not want to give up hope. And I gave that speech and I said that we are going to take the cracks, the fractures that Hillary made in that glass ceiling, we are going to shatter it. We are not going to be silenced. We are not going to back down. We are going to vote like our lives depended, because they're going to restrict our rights if we don't. And a friend of mine sent me this hammer, not only because I had said I lost some tools on the move up from North Carolina to Michigan, but she was so inspired by my voice, by the way I said that shit with conviction, that this hammer with the tools inside, some of the stuff that I used to decorate it with, this hammer shatters, and I think the H and the A got taken off, so I got to fix that. And then the vote. Because it's like my grandmother said to me when I was 6 years old. Do it because they don't want us to, and they will take it from us if they got the chance. So let's do this in November. Keep your registration up to date. Talk to your friends and family like Hillary said. And get your asses to the ballot. Get the mail-in ballots on time, or get your absentee ballots on time. Make sure your voice is heard. Each state has a SOC for the state registry for your votes. So even if you vote in mail-in or absentee, you can check to make sure your voice was tallied. Do not let the game players get you down. Vote. Because that's our only collective power right now. It is our only voice to make sure that we are led by somebody who sees all of us. And I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for sitting in. Picks, Beans, all the lurkers, everybody. Fight Song is an amazing song. Matter of fact, let's go out with that. Let's play some of that. But I'm telling you, y'all, I just enjoy the fact that y'all sitting in with us. I am so pumped and emotional because we're going to make some history.
I think it's fair to say.
Yes. Thank y'all all so much for watching. We will be back on Friday night for our all new Bonnet Chronicles, 6 p.m. EST. Thank you all for sitting in, and I will see y'all all soon.